Hello everyone, this is Zach and I'm back with another video going over the History Maker Golf companion app developed by Reggie Bowers for use while playing History Maker Golf by Play games. And this is probably the video more people are going to be looking for. Obviously in the first two videos I went over adding golfers or golf rosters as well as courses to the app for either recently developed uh, expansions to the game, if you will, from play or even your community creations. Uh, but obviously, the app comes with a lot of the courses that are available and the golfers that are available, and maybe you have those ready to go. You just want to play a tournament, and that's where I'll kind of go over this. What I will go over in this video. Personally, for this video, I'm going to use my next tournament in my 2025 Pro World Golf Tour set season. Pro World Golf Tour being the fictional offering by Play, rebranded, rebadged as PWG for the 2025 year. And this is the season I have going on with it right now. You can do a single standalone tournament in the app, but the process is really the same. So again, two birds, one stone. This happens to be the next tournament in my playthrough, so I figured I'd use that to walk you through this process. And in the next video I could kind of show more about setting up a season if you'd like to know more about that. As you can see, I'm 9 weeks or about to start the ninth week of this particular playthrough. On the screen is showing me that the next tournament is my tournament in Japan, which you saw in my last video, me importing the Accordia Golf Narashino Country Club into the app. And next will be Jumeirah Golf Estates for the Asian Championship. And you can see in my last tournament, Burton Greer picked up the win in China using a course I made using Course Collection 20. And as you can see, I'm very good with names and very creative descriptions of events as well. I'll leave that to the professionals. You can also see my TFNs currently in this playthrough, as well as the current season standings. But enough about that. Like I say, we can go over that more in a later video. You want to see the setup for a tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and click play tournament here and get the ball rolling for this next event. And that brings us to this screen where you will show, or rather add, the golfers that are going to be in the field for this event, as well as make sure you're good with the tournament name, the course, set your target score, uh, as outlined in the process for playing out a tournament in the History Maker Golf rulebook, and of course, confirm your field size. I'm basically going to do this next part off camera since I don't have a table cam or anything like that. You're not worried about how I set up my field at the moment. You just want to see how it looks in the app. So right after this magic of time travel, you will see a field of golfers getting ready for this tournament. All right, so as you can see, I've updated it now. I have my target score set. Fortunately, with Accordia being an actual, we'll say, pro golf venue, to avoid any of the trademark issues, I was able to reference past results in that event and come up with a target number fairly easily. I have my field of 117 golfers based on the process I use for setting the fields for the events on my fictional tour. So that's all set up. That's all ready to go. And I've also rolled through the first two rounds of the tournament because once I click set field here, that just takes you straight to entering your contenders. As you can see, my field is over here on the left. It has the table based on my target score as far as referencing based on the tournament grade that rolls up during the third round process. Help dictate the starting scores for the fourth round. And obviously, I won't go through this entire process here since I don't have the table cam, but I'll kind of narrate through maybe the first roll or two to show how that looks on the app. So for my first stack, I rolled a 45. So yeah, that will actually be hopefully a pretty great example. We'll see how the dice treat us. But first, for a 45, we have a draw golfer who will contend with an A minus and also get a tourney day perk roll. So we'll see if I get to maybe demonstrate one of those options here. But first, that draw golfer is going to be Tengen Haikichi. So he will start with an A minus. We will see what that tourney day perk is. A 16. Caddy conflict, no blue chips this round. So not really. And what you can do, and I could show that in the later on, but you can add notes to each golfer. Not really something I can do on this screen, but what I will be able to do, obviously, is click on Akichi, and he did not get the dot. So with an A minus no dot, he will start at a 202, and I've just made a note on my end, at least for now, to make sure I remember no blue chips for him over the course of the tournament, or at least the final round. And then my top golfer from this stack will contend with an A. It looks like that will be Nico Harms. I'll roll the decider die. He also does not get a dot, so Harms, no dot, put him at 200 on the nose to start the final round, and everybody else finishes at plus. So I'll put those golfers in my D plus stack. I'll go ahead and do another roll here. So now I've gone through my third round, and here are my contending golfers for this tournament. My 10 contenders. As you can see, I've put in their scores to start the fourth round. I also have the option here if I had rolled, and I did not in this case, but if I had rolled for the Tourney Day perk for Control or Lucky or Sunny or Stormy, I can do that now. There is an option once we get to the actual round by round or hole by hole step to include any other notes if you'd like to include those on the app. Kind of a personal choice thing. I'll kind of show that here in a little bit because there were a couple that came up that I can put in there to kind of demonstrate, but otherwise I'm ready to go. As far as moving on to the next round. So this is where kind of the meat happens as far as the tourney day setup. Once you are happy and you verified your scores and you're ready to go here, there are no other perks you want to add, click Set Pairings, and that will bring you to this screen. Now, obviously, your contending golfers have your A or A minus at this point, but you're not going to include those golfers here. Those are in your pairings. You're not worried about those guys. The only time you would ever use the A or the A minus here is if in the rare but possible instance where you end up with more than 12 of those players who roll into A to A minus range, and you have to just leave somebody out, basically. But for the most part, you're just going to skip right through your A and your A minus, and you're going to pick up with your B plus golfers, and you're just going to look at your B plus stack and click on all of them that apply, and you can scroll through the entire list, but usually I go by the letters here to kind of make it a little bit easier on myself. I'll put in Sheridan Cook here. I'll put in Adam Trenchard, and I'll go on through the list of my B plus golfers and just keep adding those And what this does, obviously, if you're familiar with the rules for the tournament format, um, if you did not have the tournament, if you did not have this companion app, then each of these golfers you then have to roll and compare against a chart to find out what their final score is going to be. If you want to, if you, well, you wouldn't have to, but if you're doing a season mode and you wanted that depth, you wanted those results to know who earns how much money or how many points towards your standings versus just going by the letter grade, then this is where you would be adding a lot of time rolling dice to get those authentic 4 round score results. Whereas with the app here, because part of the golfer creation process, as I showed you in a previous video, is including the letter grades and all of that, it's going to do all of that for us once we've put in all of our golfers here. So I'll cut away here as I'm going through this process, but that's kind of what's happening here as I get to the end of my B plus pile. I'll just click next group. Obviously, after B plus is B, so I'll be putting in those, and I'll come back to you once I have finished this process. So I'm getting to the end of the road here, so to speak, with my letter classifications, my tourney grades. I did not have any D minus golfers as it turned out this time. So I'm going to now go, obviously this next one is the cut group. So I went through my tourney grades. Obviously the final group is your cut group. As long as you haven't made any mistakes up to this point, this should be pretty easy. I'll go ahead and just unclick this one for uh, my own sanity reasons, but otherwise, this entire list should be guys you have not classified to this point. I shouldn't say guys. Maybe you're playing with the LP one of the LPGA sets or something. But your golfers at this point should be all golfers who did not make the cut. Obviously, you can compare that to your cut list and make sure and verify, but otherwise, this should be as simple as checking every golfer that's left on your list and then saying next group. And here you are. This brings us to where you'll play out the round, where you'll make the magic happen, so to speak, here on History Maker Golf. You see your leaderboard on the left, which you can scroll through. There's also the ticker here on the bottom for everybody with the letter grades. The non-contending golfers is giving us their scores for the round, so you can see where they have placed based on that automatic process. And of course, here are your cut golfers down here. And over here, it shows our first pairing. So these are the guys that are tied for 9th at the moment. They'll be the first ones to tee off, and then you'll begin the tournament. And of course, like I mentioned when I was setting up the contending golfers with Aikichi, right here you see this little note symbol. And that's where I can click on that and add a note if I so choose. So his tourney perk was no blue chips this round. So I can put that in there if I decide to do so. Personally, I have the tokens from Travis Jansen, so I'm not going to do that just because it's easier for me to keep it on the tabletop than make a note in here. But you have that option, and if you do, and I actually just so you see it, save, and it turns it yellow, which kind of serves as a reminder, hey, you made a note about this player. So with that, uh, yeah, I guess just so you kind of see the process. Again, I don't want to do this for the whole tournament. This is supposed to be a tutorial video. Let's keep the show rolling. But for this first pairing, I'll show you kind of what the first hole will look like. So I'll roll my dice. And we have a white die 6, so I'm going to go ahead and just, well, hey, you can't take any blue chips. Do I want to go for it with that in mind, or do I just want to take the par even without the blue chip? We'll call it a par. So easy enough. Click par, and it marks the 4 on the scorecard. Since it is a par 4, Julian Westermark is next. This will be a little more fun. He has control of the hole with a 3-5-6 on a par 4. Uh, he is neither a scatter nor a puny golfer. He is a champion, so that gives him an easy putt for birdie, which he makes. So we'll put down we'll click the birdie, and you see there's the 3 with the circle, and it moves him to 1 under and moves him up on the leaderboard. And then you click this arrow, and obviously that takes these golfers to the second hole, and then after I fill in their scores, it will show us our next pairing on the first hole, and so forward. So one cool thing here about to tee off with the pairing of Isaac White and Goro Morisaki, and you can see Isaac White was on my TFN list. He is sunny until further notice, and it has this lovely little reminder here as he prepares to tee off. Hey, he's sunny. So that reminds me, if I happen to have a mood check at any point in the round, he not only is sunny, but will stay sunny until obviously he loses that TFN status. Speaking of mood situations, Julian Westermark just made a putt on the mood chart for birdie on 5th hole. So there's his birdie, and I will also click here. That pops up this little flag here. Note he has the sunny quality. And of course, just so you see what they look like, you can click it again to make it go away. You can also, I'm not going to do it now, but you can click on this right here to denote it as a TFN status, because it could be one of those special results where, for example, level 1 par 3, number 36, gold TFN if golfer wins event. Well, okay, that one would be gold. That's a little bit different, but you get the idea. It's possible for a golfer to get a TFN mood result off of some of these special results. And just so you see what they look like, that's what the lucky, if you happen to get that pre-tournament perk or control. Those flags work like that as well. And same thing, if you click on the flag, it will grant it TFN status, and it will show up as sunny and then TFN in parentheses. A little further along in the tournament here, and you can see Patrick Kieran and Senji Kanishi have reached the 6th hole. However, you'll notice they're both 2 over, and our leaders have gotten off to a fairly hot start here. Goro Morisaki has moved into the lead, shooting 3 under through the first 3 holes, 3 birdies in a row, and Chico Fonseca has also birdied his first 2 holes. No surprise on that one. He has been very, very strong on my tour so far this season. So that has pushed both of these competitors beyond 6 strokes of the lead and taken them out of contention by the rules of the History Maker golf game. Now, of course, what you do with that information is up to you. You can choose to quick roll their scores for these holes as out of contention golfers. You could continue playing their rounds normally. that's entirely up to you as the player. But as you can see, the app has grayed out their backgrounds as kind of a visual cue to go along with the fact that they are now 6 strokes or more, or rather 7 strokes or more astray of the lead. So yeah, for me personally, this is when I start quick rolling their holes to keep the tournament moving along. But there you have that visual cue that hey, these guys are no longer in contention. All right, as you can see, we just finished the 10th hole with our final pairing. So here it will ask, do I have any emerging contenders since my first pairing has reached the 15th hole? And it looks like I will have one emerging contender since I only roll once with Fonseca at 3 under, and I rolled a 12. So it'll be a draw golfer in the B plus group who emerges 1 stroke back of the leader. It'll ask you 1 or 2 strokes back based on the roll, and then here's the list of the golfers who would be potentially in that contention group as either a B plus or a B golfer. Draw golfer in my B plus group will be Roman Ferreira. There you go. That's going to be quite a storyline here because he is a 6C golfer, so this is going to be a great tournament for him. And there you see, it pulls him in, puts him on the 16th tee to add him to the proceedings, adjust his score to show his 4 under. That's how he is moved into contention. Oh, well, oh man, what a dramatic finish I ended up happening. As you can see, Chico Fonseca entered the final hole 1 stroke behind Goro Morisaki, but gets the eagle on the par 5 18th, gets control of the hole, rolls the 2, 3, 4. It was a direct green with the decider die. Gave him a moderate putt for eagle, and he rolled a 2. So, I mean, just incredible season Chico Fonseca is having on my tabletop right now. But nevertheless, that means we've reached the end of the tournament. So I'll click here. There you see, it tells me he won, and he pulls up the final leaderboard, which I'm going to take a screenshot of that for posting on Discord. And after that, home, and this takes you back to a screen. You can see there's the previous tournament. You can see the standings have automatically updated, and I have a couple of TFNs I will add from this tournament during the what was it? Attorney perks was Goro Morisaki. Whoops, clicked on the wrong name. But he gained the master quality until further notice, so I'll add that, and there that adds him to the list. And Patrick Kieran, unfortunately for him, he is going to be a workman until further notice. And that gives me 6 TFN, so the next time I get TFN, Chico Fonseca will lose his master TFN, which has definitely been a part of his incredible start to the season. As you can see, 3 wins already. Been pretty impressive start for him. But anyway, so that's kind of how that looks. And like I say, you can click on FedEx Cup. There's all your standings. You can see money, placements, cuts made, all of that good stuff. And there's the schedule, or at least what I've input so far. I'll do another video kind of showing setting up a season mode. But otherwise, that's kind of what a tournament looks like here. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for watching.